Hello, everybody. How's it going? It is September 5th, day 5 of Shelftember. So, tonight, Rowan is going to be making supper, and that's the new thing starting this year because Rowan is now in school, in college. So, I'm like, well, we will make my life easier. One day a week, you will make supper, and then that way, I don't have to make supper one day. I still have to make sure the ingredients are here, but it's all ingredients we already have. So that's the good thing. So I'm just gonna. Where is that? That's, oh, I had just noticed I had some food on it. Um, so we're going to have. She's going to make homemade pizza pockets. We have pepperoni in the freezer. I have shredded cheese. I have still leftover sauce from like just tomato sauce that was in the fridge. So we're using that up and making dough from scratch because we have yeast and flour and salt, sugar. So we will be having that. And any leftover corn, as we still have, we didn't eat the corn last night. I did make some corn fritters, and so we're going to have those tonight with supper. I was trying out a recipe that I made myself. Trying to do things for Abby's new FODMAP diet that will. So I used cornstarch and rice flour instead of regular flour, eggs. Took the corn off the cobs and added some cayenne pepper and salt and pepper and pan fried them. So there'll be a video of that coming up. Okay, Tom Tom. I always seem to get you you coming and going. So you're either just getting home or just getting out the door. So that is for tonight. Tonight's supper, no, as Rowan making the pizza pockets. So that is what we're doing. We still have some leftovers too. So I've been well today. A friend of mine went out for lunch, so that was a kind of a treat for me. Um, but I still have in the fridge some leftovers that need to get eaten up. I still have uh, a steak, like one steak. I'm gonna make a steak sandwich of that tomorrow because I had taken that out. It was already pre-cooked, and I took it out yesterday to make it for lunch. But then I didn't use it. What did I have for lunch yesterday? Oh, today I had cereal, cereal and banana and milk. So I had breakfast. Wow, today I'm gonna have 3 meals. You're already hungry. Yeah, well, so I made so Rowan's making the pizza pockets. I made corn fritters yesterday. Um, so and there's still some leftover corn, and we'll probably maybe have a salad or something like that. But there's a little tiny hiccup in my Shelftember plans. Hey, Amanda, how's it going? Is with Abby's new diet that she's supposed to follow, which is an elimination type diet, supposed to kind of remove all the things that can cause potential not allergies but stomach problems like gas and bloating or whatever and stuff like that. Because she has stomach issues that they're trying to rule out. That's why she's getting an endoscopy and a capsule camera endoscopy and a colonoscopy in 2 months or so, whenever they give us the date. They want us to do this diet and then introduce the foods back. So she's going to be like no gluten, which is going to suck because she likes her pasta. But I'm gluten-free pasta this week. So this weekend I'm going to be going to the store, probably to Bulk Barn, to try a few different gluten-free pastas, gluten-free snacks that don't have ingredients that are also on that's the FODMAP. So as I looked at the snacks that I have in my cupboard that are traditionally ones that I give her, the fruit pouches, the granola bars and stuff, I can't give them to her because they either have lactose and milk ingredients, or they have apples or applesauce in them, or they have cashews. Like the day I sent her with this nut mix, we're not doing it this week. I'm just accumulating recipes and absorbing the information through the app, that is there. I'll show you the link to the app. Um, that they recommend us buying. So I paid for the app. It's like $9. I did download some free ones, but it didn't seem to have everything in it. And this app, they update it with stuff. Because it's being run through the university. So, but I did find a list of all the things she can eat. So there's still lots of things she can eat. Unfortunately, all the fruit that she can't eat are fruits that she likes. But there are still fruits that she can eat that she likes. So banana, she can have a small one firm, or half banana. She can have banana chips. She can have blueberries, cantaloupe, clementines, fresh and dried coconut, which she'll like, dragon fruit, grapes, guava, honeydew, kiwi fruit, lemons, limes, oranges. Oh, she can have papaya, so that's neat. Pineapple, plantain, raspberries, rhubarb, and strawberry. So she does it. There's some berries, but those fruits are not in season. The things that are in season right now is apples, and they're cheap. I did pick up some on my last grocery haul, so she's gonna still have a couple until next week, and then unfortunately off of them. But what I will do with the apples when they are on sale, I will be making some apple pie filling and putting that in the freezer or canning it so that we can have the wonderful apples later on. Because I don't think apples are ones that bother her. I honestly think, I'm hoping and praying that onion and garlic are not ones that bother her, because I found out they're in everything. Like all the seasoning mixes, all the prepackaged stuff have either onion or garlic or modified milk ingredients, which is like weird. Um, so in this list of the vegetables, though, of the ones that she can have, um, the only ones I know she will eat, let's see, she'll eat bean sprouts, pickled beets, because I guess beets not pickled are too sweet. She'll eat broccoli and cabbage. I thought cabbage was not one that she can't have. So apparently she can have cabbage. Ginger root, fresh and ground, so that's good because she loves ginger. Lettuce, potato, leeks, the green part, or green onions. So she can have. So that's one thing. So instead of onions, you can have the green onions, so the spring onions, but just the green part. And instead of garlic, we could have garlic infused oil. I have some in the cupboard. I'm going to take my garlic that I have now and take one of my new bottles of olive oil. And I'm just going to take off the lid and throw some in there. So infuse some so that I will have some flavored in a couple of weeks, hopefully. I'll have to Google how long it takes to infuse garlic oil. But then that way, if I finish off the one we have already opened, we'll have something. So I don't have to go buy garlic oil because I have the ingredients already. Let's see what else here. Nori seaweed, so she eats that. Tomatoes, canned or um, or fresh. Um, Black and green olives, because all the rest she can't eat. Oh, that's nice is that she can have a tablespoon of cranberries or raisins, so that will help with oatmeal. I have to go check out the instant oatmeal to see if she can eat that. If not, I'll be making oatmeal. But, yeah, it's a very odd list of things that she can eat and can't eat. Like, it doesn't necessarily make complete sense. So, as you notice on that list, Brussels sprouts is not on that list. She loves raw Brussels sprouts. Um, Corn she can have, but fresh corn she can only have half a cob. She usually only eats between half cob and the cob. Well, actually, she could eat up to 3/4 of. So a half cob is in the green light. 3/4 of a cob is yellow. So that's like it's getting wary, and then a full one is too much. But what I was looking at on the app was it's all about the amount. So some things like the serving size that's on the package, it'll say no because it'll be red. But if you had half a serving, like say the serving was 3 cookies. So at 2 cookies it was yellow, and at 1 cookie it was green. So you could have one, but not three. So I'm like, it's going to be interesting, a hit and miss, and it's going to be a whole learning curve. I just hope that with the elimination diet, it'll help heal her gut while it's we're doing that, and her symptoms of nausea and stomach problems um, will diminish so that it won't affect her going to school and stuff like that. So if those things help, it's worth it. And then with the reintroduction stage, I will ask her which things um, she would like back in her diet. Um, that way, we'll reintroduce the things that she's craving the most. Because after 4 or 5 weeks of not having something, we can start reintroducing stuff. Hey, fairy god monster, how's it going? Oh, I want to show you. Here's the corn fritters I made that are gluten free and FODMAP. I'm having some right now. I made them for supper last night. So they were just corn. Where's the camera? Corn off the cob, mixed with um, cayenne pepper, salt, pepper, uh, a bunch of eggs. So, like I did, I think I used 4 eggs in total with the amount of corn I had, and then some cornstarch and rice flour, and then pan fry them in oil. Now, I had my pan, I think, a bit too high because it kept on spitting at me like the oil. So, like the first batch, it's fine. The second batch, by the third batch, because you can only put like 3 or 4 at a time. Um, by the fourth batch, my cast iron pan was too hot, so I had to lower the heat. They're good. But Abby tried one. She wasn't too fond of them. I'm like, I'm making them for you. Trying to find gluten free stuff. So I was gonna say this. So my Shelftember is doing good. Um, I'm slowly eating through things and going through leftovers. Like so tonight, Rowan's making pizza pockets, and we're gonna have those and leftover corn. So and then any leftovers, like because what usually happens is, you know, we'll have supper. If anybody's still hungry, like if there's not a lot of whatever's there, if people want something else, something different, there's leftovers in the fridge of like one serving of something. So, or in the freezer. But how do you like these with ketchup? I tried them with like just some ranch dressing that we had. They were good. Today I just put some salt. So how was everybody's day? What'd you guys end up having for lunch? It was kind of a snack. I went for lunch with a friend of mine to this Thai place, and I got a soup with noodles and beef, and there was tomatoes, but there was only a few pieces of tomatoes in the and some mushrooms, which I gave my friend the mushrooms because I don't like mushrooms. Another day at work. Yes, but another day at work is another paycheck, which is a one step closer to paying off bills and getting out of debt. But your lunch could be exciting. Yep. Well, it's good. It's always good to have a job that you like. Either that you like the work you do, or you like the environment, the people you work with, or your bosses. If you can get two or out of the three or all three, work doesn't seem like work. So my husband is very lucky that he likes the work he does, and he likes his employees and most of his bosses and stuff like that. What he doesn't like is the paperwork because everything needs paperwork and red tape and stuff like it's all bureaucracy. He doesn't like that part. And if he ever went higher in the government, like he's been asked to go to like a higher level, but then he doesn't deal with his clients. He just does basically paperwork, the boring stuff, and he really, really doesn't like that. So I doubt he'll ever go much higher than what he is unless they can um, incorporate him dealing with people versus just paperwork. Did a recording of a new store here. It has a milkshake bar where you make your own shakes. Oh, cool. Awesome. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. That's true. You like the paychecks. If you like the work, like as I said, don't necessarily have to love it. But if you like the work, but when the work is repetitive or boring, it's hard to get up in the morning to go to work. Or if there's like people that you work with are annoying or don't do their job, like if you're always doing all the work and they're like buggering off, that doesn't make you happy either. But liking the paycheck, putting the paycheck towards what you want to do for retirement or for travel or for whenever you get out of debt is always nice too. When I was working, um, the reason why I stayed at one job for so long was because I liked the people and most of my coworkers. Some of my coworkers, like we always like so the shifts I worked overnight shift, so I interacted with the evening staff as well as the morning staff, and then sometimes there was part-time ones that were in between. There were some of the full-time people of evening and morning that I worked well with. I liked them, and there were some that like there's always one person that tries to do the bare minimum, and then them doing the bare minimum makes everybody else have to carry up the slack and makes them more busy. So there was one morning staff and one evening staff that whenever they worked, I was like, oh, they're on shift. That means I'm going to have to do the harder calls, the ones that were more labor intensive versus the easy calls. Like, because we were physical care attendants for adults with physical disabilities, and some calls involved lifting, transferring, showering, getting dressed, or meal prep and then feeding and then cleaning up afterwards. Some of the calls were just meal prep and then letting them, maybe cutting their meat, you know? And some calls, like there was one call that all she ever called us down for was to change the light bulbs because she couldn't reach them. And if she had anything in the oven, like on a tray or a lasagna pan, she didn't have the balance to use both hands to lift them out of the oven, but she could do stuff on the stove. So we were only called there, or if she ever injured herself. Those calls were like really easy. But yes, our plan is to have our house paid off by the time I'm 40. Well, that's good. I can tell you our house is not paid off and I'm over 40. That's a very ambitious plan. Are you planning on having kids, or that? Because they also suck at the money out of you. Like, for example, Rowan started college this week, and she has the college. Yeah. Nope, we don't want kids by choice. Okay. No, I was just wondering because pets cost money, kids cost more money because their costs increase. And then once, then you have them for 18 years. And then once they're over 18, then there's post secondary school and stuff. And they always seem to, there's always cost. But yeah, especially Meno, of what you've shared with your past and stuff like that. Um, I can see how um, that would not want you to probably have kids or that, just because it's one more thing. Like, I have two friends who are not single, who are married but have no kids, and by choice, not by circumstances or anything, because um they believe, and they do, uh they have pets, and they sometimes rescue pets too, like, or foster them, like, through an organization that whenever they need a foster, they'll foster some. But just because, well, one, they don't. One of my friends, really, as she said it herself, she does not have the maternal instinct. She's a great aunt and will, with her nieces and nephews, great to, take them for a day or whatever, or for the weekend, and do fun things. But she doesn't want that responsibility 24/7. And also, she has a life and a career, her and her husband, that's very busy and very um time consuming. There's a lot of travel involved, and she's like, I would just not be fair. Like, it's not fair on her husband, the amount of time that she's away from home. It would not be fair for children and stuff. And that's her choice. It's not that she doesn't like kids. She just not for herself. And um another friend of mine, she uh she's an extremist in a lot of things. Like, she's vegan, so she's vegan, and she's very like, organically hippie, granola-y, you know what I'm talking about? And, you know, she goes by the belief that there's already enough people on the planet, that she doesn't want to be responsible for producing another person on the planet. Um, and she, um, with her job, she's a social worker and works with, like, um, kids, like, with, like, children's aid type thing. And she's like, not with children's aid, but a social worker that working with kids like from those agencies, and she's like, there are so many kids that are unwanted, or and that she doesn't want to produce more. Um, she says when she retires, she'll probably foster kids and stuff because, but that's about it. She has, and there's no need, but um, just usually when people are saying they're going to pay off their house by the time they're 40, it's like, well, before you have turned 40, usually, you know, sometimes the normal course of things is like you get married, you have kids, you pay off your house type thing. That's traditional. So pretty good with our money when we were in our 20s, so we were able to put a decent amount down on our house, so our mortgage monthly. Oh, that's nice. Well, yeah, it's not, and it's not for everyone. And there's some people out there that have children, and they really should. Well, for an example, my grandmother, my dad's mother, she she said to my dad, this is how I found out this information because she died when I was a baby, so I never really met her. That in her generation, because she was born before the Second World War, that you got married, you had kids, and basically you had kids. You had a boy and a girl, and then you could stop, but you had to have at least one of each. And she never wanted kids, but that was not an option. So when he was a kid, like they had a nanny because that's what you did in the Bahamas and stuff. His nanny raised him. He didn't really have much of a connection with his mother as he wanted. His sister did a bit, but it was just she just was not that type of person, and she actually regretted the decision of either getting married and having kids. And she was, so people like that shouldn't, have kids if they don't want them. You will be debt free. Others on your mortgage by this time. Oh, nice, awesome. Then we will plan to make at least a double payment on our house. Lots and definitely not for the norm anymore. No, and some people think it's selfish, but it's really not. Um, it's whatever is your personality. Oh, right? Yeah. It's whatever you think is good for you. Because some people, like I have a friend, she's 67, never been married, never had kids. She never found the right guy. And looking back on it, she never really wanted kids. Like she did not want them, but and she's perfectly happy and with her life. And she's satisfied. So, you know, if you don't want or you don't want to be a burden on society or on the planet or you know that's completely your choice. It's kind of like same with people's choice of people have big families. That's their personal choice of how big a family you want. I always wanted to have a large family because I was the only child. Well, I had a sister, but she died as a baby, but I was raised basically as the only child because she was only on this earth for like 6 weeks. It was not a long enough to be not really an only child. So I always wanted a big family. I have my two, and I was blessed with my two. I was not blessed with a big family. And looking at how other people have these big families, I'm like, wow, I don't think I could manage 8, 10 kids. you know, I have a I have a lot on my plate with just two. You know, Not part of the norm. I know a lot of people now. Well, exactly, and a lot of millennials are not having them. They are using their money. They're using their money for themselves, traveling the world, expanding their sight of the world, and seeing other countries. And then they're seeing how in other countries there's so much impoverished children that they're like, well, North America, we're pretty lucky, even though we do have a lot of kids that are impoverished, but there's programs available to try and help that. But I love watching the large channels like Andrea Mills, Jan Morrell, One Tribe, our Tribe of Many, um, Parsnips and Parsimony, um, shoot, I think the Noel family, K-N-O-L-L family. Those are the top ones that have like big family. I live vicariously through them, seeing large families and bunch of kids. But then I'm like, oy vey, like my kids are 16 and 18. Oldest is in college, youngest is in high school. I'm at home. I have time for me. I can take a bath by myself and hopefully not be interrupted. I still get interrupted, but they know better. Well, exactly. More power to them. Exactly. So, what I would also suggest, Amanda, is instead of like, don't be in such a rush to pay off your house once you have all your other debts paid, because you should honestly take some of your income and spend it on yourself and your husband. Because the reason why I say this is we never know when in our life illness is going to happen. And honestly, once you hit 40, your chances of getting ill or hurt or injured increases. um, so take some of that money and plan a vacation, plan some travel, do things that make you guys happy. Because I know too many people that worked and worked and worked and didn't take vacation or hardly took any vacation. And the only vacation they took was like to see family and not really reconnected. I'm sorry, reconnected with their partner. Um, and they end up getting ill or getting cancer, and then that money um was used for that, and that was just recovering. So they never had a chance to really have some good lasting memories um with their partner. And so all their memories was either work and or taking care or being sick, you know? We each get fun money. That is what we do too. We put money away for vacation. Like each time we go on vacation, we initially put it on. So we have half of it usually saved up before we book vacation. So that's our down payment, and then we'll put there's a time that you have to pay off the amount, which is usually about 2 months before vacation. So then we put on to the credit card, and then we pay it off within like a month or so. Also along those lines, if one of us got hurt or died, couldn't work, just as you would, if exactly. If well, because I could never make the income that Jeff makes. Like when I was working and Jeff was working, he made starting off twice as much as what I make. My job skills and where I would work, the increase in pay hasn't been much. The average DSW worker working in a group home or an EA working in a school is about 20 to 23 or $5 an hour. Some places pay as high as $30 an hour. That would still only give me 30 grand a year Canadian, maybe 30, maybe 40 if, amount of hours. My husband makes more than that, you know? And it just, if he got in, the only saving grace is if he got injured, he has pension and he has like disability and stuff like that. So that would cover like, I think 80% of his income, but uh, it's not a lot. But we would definitely we'd have a huge wake up call and things would have to change. Because if he got injured, somebody's going to have to take care of him, and then somebody's going to have to work. Turn that off. True, but so as long as your mortgage is um as long as one person's income is as much as your mortgage, you should be good. So that's why I was saying to once you paid off your other debts, paying off your mortgage, there's not there's not usually a huge cost benefit of paying it off early. Sometimes there's even um, uh, penalties for paying it off early. So, but having that money set aside for either making double payments or paying off early or vacation or when shit hits the fan, who knows? A mortgage will save us thousands of interest over the life. But sometimes, depending on on your mortgage, like I know with ours, we can put, I think, twice a year an extra whole amount on. Right now, we are just paying the mortgage, and then once a year, usually when we get our money back from taxes, because we never owe money on taxes, we always get money back. He puts another payment on it. Repayment. Oh, really? I know in Canada, um, depending on your mortgage, you might have a penalty of I don't understand it, but there's like some sort of penalty of paying it off too early. Um, I don't know. Well, there's I think a penalty. Like I don't know if it's on the mortgage or it might be on your taxes or something. 'Cause somebody explained it to me once, and I can't. I don't really understand. Yes, yes, I have. Not recently though, but yes, she's in Alberta, I think. Because it's different if you have the money and go buy a house. You can pay it all off at once. But there's like some sort of penalty or tax. Like it's kind of like if you go, for example, if you get fired from your job, but you have a severance package, and your employer gives you the severance package all at once, now you're going to get taxed on all this income at once. Now, if their severance package is okay, we will give you this money over 3 years, then they're only getting taxed at a much smaller amount. I know friends that got screwed that way. First, they lost their job, then they got taxed. That amount of money was put into their income, even though they took that money that they got as a severance package and put it back into like RDSPs or RRSPs or mutual funds of whatever. Like they didn't actually do anything with it. they then got dinged because now instead of their income being between this level and this level, and you're getting, say, 15% tax, it now bumped up to the 30% tax or whatever the tax level is. And they had to pay money at income tax time, which they didn't have because they had taken all of that money, put it into investments, and were still at income tax time, still not working. In the process of paying off theirs, and they are in Canada, so she explains that it's not sure. So I think each year to increase the payments they make. Yes, yeah. So that's what I'm gonna say. That you can increase your payments by a certain amount, and make one or two extra payments. So, for example, mortgage. If you paid your mortgage by weekly, say your mortgage is $1,200 a month, but you paid it bi-weekly. So you're paying $600 every 2 weeks. The way that works with the amount of weeks in a year versus how many months are in a year, you're actually making, I think, 4 or 5 extra payments because some weeks are 5 weeks, some months are 5 weeks, right? So you'll be making 52, so 26 payments instead of 12, which would be double 24. So you'd be making, now, even on a monthly thing, you pay one extra month of mortgage as a bonus, usually on like the anniversary of your mortgage. So if you got your mortgage in October, you could do a double payment. Yeah, I'll tap that over. Opening a new tab. Okay, I'm opening a new tab. He just picked up a random video. Oh yeah, we lost power here. I don't know how long. So I was home till noon, and then my friend and I went for lunch. And we got back at like 12:45, and then like the lights were off. I'm like, oh well, my lights aren't usually on anyways. The power was out. The power just came back on before I started my live stream. It was out for like maybe could be 5 minutes, could have been 45 minutes. And I'm like, what the heck is this happening? So I called hubby just to make sure he's paid the hydro. And he said, well, yeah, I did, because he's the one that pays all the bills. He has his own little system, you know? But see, from my childhood and my past, when the power went out, oh, that link didn't work. So what's it called? Decade to Freedom. Okay. Decade to Freedom. Yeah, yeah, I'm subscribed to them. There we I'm gonna have to reset the clock on the stove. Oh yeah. Well, see, my house, all the clocks aren't the same time, anyways. It's like a twilight zone. I'm in like my own little time zone. So like our thermostat is usually 10 minutes fast or slow. And oh, that's Abby. She's ready to be picked up. Um, so you said, sure, you paid the bill. Yeah, no, that's hilarious because I mean, when I was a kid, when the power went out, sometimes it's because my mom forgot to pay a bill or didn't have money to pay a bill. Either forgot legit or thought she had paid it, because that was the time when you're writing checks and putting it in envelopes and thought you mailed it off. You know, she was as distracted as I was. I'm just like, what? So my first reaction is like, power's out. Did you pay hydro? Because not that, oh, there's power outage. There must be something wrong. No, I think it's our fault. So, but it's been nice chatting with you. Abby just messaged that she's done school and ready to get picked up. We still haven't worked on her going to and from school alone since the last time that she got kind of lost and turned around and had kind of like panic attack, and she has, I think, a bit post traumatic stress from that we have to deal with. We haven't quite gotten there yet, but hopefully will soon. Since we're just starting back at school and she's starting to get the schoolwork, it's only been a couple days of getting some schoolwork and doing the schoolwork, and she hasn't been completely exhausted. But I've been going to bed at like 8. I'm exhausted 8, 9 o'clock. I'm used to going to bed at midnight. Like, this back to school shit is tiring. Rowan's been getting up at 5:30 because she has to be at school twice this week for 8. So it's like, oh, and it's a 40-minute bus ride. But the first day of school at orientation, she was late because she was waiting for 40 minutes for the bus. The bus is supposed to come every 15, 20 minutes. 2 buses never came, like 2 scheduled buses. It was that far behind. And it still took her only 40 minutes, but she was there at the bus stop at 6:30. The bus didn't come till 7:20, almost a whole hour. So I told her next time go to the other bus stop where there's 2 buses that can take her to school. One is just one bus, and the other one she has to transfer. So, so chat with you guys later, um, and see you tomorrow. Maybe we'll do a morning live stream. Bye, friends.